Today I want to share a few techniques to help improve your bird photography. With the various lockdowns that have been occurring because of the coronavirus, people have been taking advantage of all the excess time to go and reconnect with nature. And nowadays most people have access to a camera of some variety, whether it's an iPhone or a mirrorless or DSLR camera. So there's been this swell in wildlife and nature photography. If you're interested in wildlife photography, particularly bird photography, then this video will provide you with techniques to elevate your images and improve your skill. This video is for amateur to intermediate photographers. I'm going to break it up into 3 small sections. The first section we're going to look at birds as a subject. In the second portion of the video we're going to look at autofocus options in your viewfinder, which will enable you to capture different behaviors of wildlife as subjects. And finally, I'm going to leave you with a creative technique that will help you see eye to eye with your subject and enable your viewers to create a deep connection with the subject that you're shooting. In order to do this, I headed out to Anton Lakes in Hampshire.
Birds have variations in behavior on a species level. A mallard duck often dips multiple times or bobs its head before extending its body and stretching its wings. Coots are very territorial and will often angle their bodies in a triangle before chasing off others of their own species. These can make excellent action shots. Egrets wade in shallow water, shaking their legs to loosen the salt for food. Robins are highly territorial and are often accustomed to humans who pass near them, and so photographers may be able to catch them calling. Whether it's diving black-headed gulls or the simple bobbing nature of moorhens, birds act differently and have different tells when they are about to do something of interest to photographers. Therefore, it's important to spend time with and understand your subjects to optimize your knowledge of the behavior in order to take incredible photographs. Most well-known photographers do recon expeditions before executing the fantastic shots that they're known for, or have been around the same subjects for months to years. Knowing your subject is one of the first steps in improving your photography. In this second portion of the video, I'm going to cover the automatic focus area options and when to apply them. The first autofocus area is the single point focus, which appears as a small dot or square. This focus point is especially useful when trying to take a photo of a smaller bird inside foliage, as it tells the camera to focus on a specific area and not its surroundings. As you can see in this image of a robin, by using the single point focus, I can get my camera to look past the foliage that is closer to the lens in order to get a clear shot of my subject. This is the final image taken using the single point focus from this encounter. This focus point also works with stationary or slow-moving subjects, regardless of size. It won't work, however, with fast-moving birds in flight. For this kind of behavior, the expansion autofocus, often with 6 to 8 points, can be used. The 8 surrounding points assist but do not control the autofocus. This allows you to maintain a constant focus but provide more leeway if the bird wavers. For example, to get this photo of a coot, a bird that often moves quite erratically. I used this autofocus setting and was able to get this image of the bird as it took off after another. Finally, by using the zone autofocus function that looks like these brackets here, you are using a bigger area and therefore allowing your camera to perform autofocus point switching. This is particularly useful when you shoot large flocks of birds such as these gulls, or this smaller grouping of Canadian geese. In this setting, autofocus follows the closest subject in the area of focus. If another subject enters the frame closer to the camera, like this, it'll switch to that subject. Now for my last tip. One of the most important aspects of wildlife photography, whether or not you're focusing on bird life, is changing your perspective. The average person with a camera might shoot a photo of a black-headed gull as they see them, often taking images like this. However, to create a better connection with your subject, you need to get down to their level. This radically changes the perspective of your shot. With water birds, this is particularly difficult. However, by putting your tripod into the water at level with the bird, you can capture perspective shots that set your images apart. The most important thing to remember when setting up your tripod like this is to ensure that it is stable and as leveled as possible. You will also need to increase your shutter speed because of the shake caused by the movement of the water. By applying this technique, you can achieve shots like this. Just a quick comparison. Do you feel the difference?
While I'm here downloading the photos from today's shoot, let's go over what we've covered in this video. First, we looked at bird behavior and how on species level there are certain tells. We then looked at autofocus area functions, how we can utilize them to best shoot those different behaviors. Single point focus allows us to narrow down and hone in on our subject, whether that's a small bird through foliage or the eye of a heron. We then looked at expansion area focus, 6 to 8 points, and how that helps us track erratic movements. We finally looked at zone area focus and how that enables us to track flocks as they fly. But you have to be aware of the autofocus point switching system, which means that any subject or element closest to the lens will be in focus, and the focus will jump between two subjects if that's the case. Finally, we looked at how getting down to see eye to your subject can make all the difference to your photography. By positioning yourself differently to how other people would, you create a dynamic photograph that enables your viewers to connect emotionally with your subject. I really enjoyed today's shoot. I hope you did too. I'll see you next time.